Well, hello and welcome. This is Jennifer Hough, and this is the Thriving Life podcast. Make sure you're in the right place at the right time, which today should be a really juicy topic. Here it is. Why is it that our intention is our most valuable asset? Why is it that we got taken out of our focus? And how is it that by understanding the laws of physics and how your brain works and all that kind of stuff, that your attention is actually your most mighty, I would say, tool? How is that? Why? I didn't really understand this until I remember that I was looking at variables within the business and then variables within my relationship and then variables within my body. And all I was focused on was everything that was wrong, all the things that were wrong. And of course, the more I was vigilant for what was wrong, the more things that were wrong showed up. You ever had that? I call that the grease line slippery slope to hell. It's not very fun. And when that happens, there are two things that I want to make sure are really important for us to understand. One is that in the short term, you have to you really, you don't have to anything, but we really benefit deeply from having an immediate way out, like some pattern interrupt. And secondly, it's just so important. It's just so important, truly, to have a long-term way of shoring up our ability to stay focused in the right direction and keeping there is no right direction. Focused in a direction that would benefit us most and keeping the main thing the main thing. You know, everything from Harvard studies to Yale studies to UC Berkeley studies, all of these places have done studies that actually show that our focus, our attention, not only affects the results in our life, it affects the amount of fulfillment we have, the amount of meaning we sense in our everyday actions, and it also affects our ability to feel like our life uh, gave to us exactly what it was that we wanted. And conversely, the truth is that life is also calling us forward because the laws of physics show that that is true. I remember using my attention to go, uh, really my focus, to go on a tangent for our business, for instance, that about 6 months in, the results were that I really wasn't it really didn't feel good to continue in that same focus. And I knew I had to let go of a project, which included a person that just didn't feel in alignment at all. And our focus allows us, now get this is so important. Our focus allows us to also root out that which doesn't work so much faster. Because when you're not paying attention to your attention, when you're not in your clarity, what happens is it can take years, it could take decades to transcend something that isn't working for you, right? So today is all about the physics of it, the brain science of it, and the experience with the brain of it. And it's also about the magnetics of attention and being able to be fluid instead of dogmatic and attached as well. Being able to be playful and creative within having that attention. It's almost like focused enough that we move the energy, but expansive enough and letting go enough of the specificity to be able to receive the magic. It's a dance, isn't it? As soon as we make it a wrestling match, that's when it all goes downhill. All right, guys. So before we dive in deeper, one of the things for me regarding attention and regarding where I put my focus, because I understand the laws of physics, one of the things about that is I know that I need to get away. I need to get away to see the bigger picture, to cut the bigger picture of me, the bigger picture of how I am. I pull back quite often. I will go on a trip to visit a girlfriend. I will go into the forest. I will go to wherever it takes to be able to get that spaciousness, to find clarity, not only clarity, but I also love to be able to be guided back to myself. And for that reason, that's one of the things that we do. We take people on wide awakening adventures. There's one coming up called the Costa Rica Wide Awakening Adventure, where it's a journey back to yourself. It's coming up in November. It's definitely going to fill up because there's only room for 15 people. And we made it in these times of great change, super affordable, given what's included, all the trips. And definitely, with working with me and the team for 5 days straight, we're having meals together, looking at your hologram, looking at life, and certainly interacting with a community at large that is up to expansive things. There's something that happens when we unplug from it all and we actually are able to sit and get clarity, and we bring the magic and the alchemy that happens back to our lives, and we're able to overflow it with other people. So here's to making a quantum leap on that journey together. And if you're interested, you can click on the link. Yeah. All right. Let's get back to focus. Speaking of attention, let's get our attention back on the subject of attention. So what is attention anyways? I mean, what is that? What does it even mean? What's attention? Attention is placing attention on something is deliberate. It's a conscious choice, and it is a mental focus of taking your resources and your energy and investing them into a direction or a vision. Now, one might argue, certainly I would argue, that the visions that we have are actually already created. So when we talk about I have a vision, honestly, by the time you receive the vision or the idea that you have, consciousness has been working on it for decades, maybe even lifetimes. The fact that you aligned your energy so much that you received the vision is actually a testament to your willingness to become. But you have to understand that to receive the vision, the eons of information and resources that have been collecting over decades or years or whatever it is, that information has been waiting for you for that long, along with the exact way to get there. So once you're ready for it, that's when you get the vision from greater consciousness, which was already cooked. I know it's a little bit of a different way of thinking about it, but when people say I have to get clarity on my vision, the first thing I tell them is, okay, well then you might want to look at who you need to become, the skills you need to learn in order to have that vision become more clear. I'll give you a for instance. So lately, I've been looking at well, actually, let's even talk about like recently a client. She wanted to go to the next level. And one of the things that she wanted to go to the next level, she's an executive. And in order to get to the next level, I noticed that what had happened was that she was trying to get to the next level in her ability to lead people. But I knew instantly from who she currently was that her ability to get to the next level in this company was not going to happen because she didn't have the wherewithal to be able to manage people and enjoy it at the level that she needed to. So, and yes, well, it is so cool. I haven't heard from everybody yet what your word is for the day and where you are in the world. Please type it into the comments. I love to see who's hanging out with us today. So, guys, as soon as I sent her a couple of resources and a couple of things to listen to, she even took a couple of courses. And as soon, like literally as soon as that last program finished that I had redirected her to, because she had become the person that gained some confidence, she actually got the promotion with a massive bonus. Okay. The same thing is happening to me. One of the things that I was thinking to myself is, oh, the stock market seems to be going well, but I'm not, I don't really have a massive, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I listen to the experts. But I thought to myself, if I really want to have confidence about money and about making a return or whatever it is, I need to take a program. We need to actually take the programs, take the education that help us become the person that can contain the thing that we want, as long as it's presenting. So remember, your focus can create glass ceilings, the glass ceiling of which is going to call you to actually learn something, to actually go to the next level in your understanding of a subject. So I'm just warning you that when you put more attention on something, you're also going to have to become. Don't don't get lazy about it. Oh, I just need to use law of attraction and lie on a lawn chair and drink mojitos. No, that's not how it works. You're in a dance with all of consciousness, which means that you need to take action. So let's talk about the benefits, or let's talk about what attention is a little bit further, because there are benefits of uh, actually being a master of your attention. The first benefit is from the quantum perspective. So, from the quantum particle perspective, where you put your attention. So, right now, one of the things that we have our attention on is the Costa Rica trip, for instance. And just think of something that you've got, you have a focus or a concern, or you'd like to get results in that area, right? Something where you'd like to get results in that area. So the benefit of that is that when I'm thinking about Costa Rica, I get to think about the fact that we're going on a retreat to visit the sloths. And I love sloths because they really are examples of slowing down to speed up. It's amazing what these little guys can do. Um, Secondly, I just put my attention on all the things that are gonna happen. I start to get to the specificity of what feels good. And in the quantum field, what happens is what starts to be generated is all the people that resonate with um, the joy and the expansion that's associated with that trip. For instance, uh, I remember when I had broken up with my boyfriend, I had my attention on all the things that were wrong with me, all the things that went wrong in the relationship, all the things that went wrong with it. And I got myself down that grease line, slippery slope to hell. Ever done that? And so I'd love to hear maybe what area of your life where you've gone down that grease line, slippery slope, maybe even recently. And what happened was, at some point, I remember being in England and I knew that I needed a pattern interrupt because I was just going to stay where I was. I was getting so down and depressed. And I was lying in a bathtub trying to feel better, honestly. A beautiful tub. And all of a sudden, as I was relaxing and just letting myself enjoy the tub right in the moment, not trying to get anywhere, I kind of let go of perpetually going down the rabbit hole, right? And then what happened was an idea popped because I took my attention off of this whole idea that that everything was going to heck. And what I did was I started to focus on, and I'm just going to check. I hope you guys can hear me. I started to focus on a direction that was really super important to me, which was actually finding my peace. Because in my health world, I absolutely knew that stress is a number one killer. And I'm like, I don't want to get a disease from being this stressed out. So the idea was to go to downtown London, to walk to Piccadilly Circus from Chelsea, which is a long way, by the way. And I did it. I took a taxi once I realized I just wanted to get there, and I had the night of my life. I had so much fun. I met a couple of guys. We had so much fun. We stayed up till 3:30 in the morning laughing and just chatting and watching all the buskers, and it was fabulous. And it only happened because I was willing to take my attention off. And that's one of the benefits. One of the benefits is the quantum field responds immediately, almost like a slingshot. And so when we're myopically focused on something that isn't working, the great thing is the instant we turn our direction, our attention to something else, consciousness is already working towards the expansiveness. And by the way, expansive ideas that are towards the reason why you're alive, uh, the solutions and the answers come exponentially faster than when we're going down the grease line, slippery slope to hell. Honestly, if I had attracted that which I was thinking about when I was breaking up with my boyfriend, I would have, I would have been dead. A truck would have run over me based on those magnetics. So the cool thing is, when we're moving towards, I just want you to know that there's grace in the universe, right? So in the quantum field, it rearranges itself instantaneously towards that which you're willing to act on that feels like it's presenting. Okay? So that's the quantum field. The second benefit of being a master of your attention is that your brain's a funny thing. It has something called a reticular device. And the reticular device is quite something. The reticular device actually is a part of your brain at the base, the back, just above your occiput. That is this crazy thing that when you decide you want a pink Volkswagen Beetle, all of a sudden when you go shopping for a pink Volkswagen Beetle, what you'll see is beetles everywhere. And it's not because it can be because there's more beetles based on your actual quantum field, but also your brain starts to be attuned to and vigilant for things that look like or are in alignment of or offer you inspiration on the subject that you found is important to you. Your brain will actually cut out all the noise related to the beautiful Mercedes, and you're going to be seeing beetles flipping everywhere. And it's an attention, it's a vigilance thing with your brain. It's a vigilance redirector. And oftentimes the amount of bits per second, some people say it's millions, some people say it's trillions of bits per second that we actually process. And my response to that is that we couldn't possibly actually pay attention to all of that. And nor would you want to, because in this three-dimensional life that we have, we want to live it. We want to be present to the beauty and the expansion and the contrast that catalyzes what's next and new clarity. So you can put more attention on the new clarity, et cetera, et cetera. So the reticular activating system allows you to stay in focus, but also to not be distracted when you really decide something is important. Which brings me to the next thing, and that is passion. One of the benefits of attention is that, and one of the tools that we need to get really good at is the tool or the activity of clarity around your passion. Passion creates magnetics. Passion is the language of the universe. So, one of the most important things we could do is follow our passion since it's the language of the universe. And when we have a path of most excitement, what happens is we're aligning with the laws of physics and with the universe itself. And most people don't follow their passion. There are things that get in the way of knowing your passion, one, but never mind, not only knowing your passion, never mind actually being able to get focused on what the next step and the next step and the next step is. One of the issues with a lot of my clients who tend to be visionaries like you probably is that visionaries tend to see the entire end game. They tend to see what's possible. They tend to get these ideas of what could happen for humanity. And they start to be dreamt by a dream. And being human with the illusion of time, it almost seems like it might be too much to get to that end game. It's not happening fast enough. And visionaries who get attached, this is one of the very things that gets in the way of you keeping your focus, is we get so attached. I include myself in that category. We get so attached to the end game that we're not showing up for what life is presenting us, who we need to talk to, the course we need to take to become, the practical things in the everyday that you need to actually do to show consciousness that you're interested in going in that direction. And so we want it all now. I have someone in mind right now who's one of our clients, one of the one-on-one clients, and I love her so much. And she's very passionate and extremely visionary, and she just wants to get there now. I want to get there now, which is great. It's great. It's great to have that energy. At the same time, remember how we talked about you have to be able and willing to dance with a lack of attachment, right? A freedom to be able to lie in the bathtub and let it all go. For me, a lot of the times going for a bike ride with my sweetie on our Sundays is my way of just having a good time, looking at the river, because we go on this river ride. And I cannot believe how many ideas come to me while we're riding our bikes. Just incredible. But you have to have that built into your week and your day. The time for letting go, the time to slow down, to speed up. Because when you let go and consciousness is seen all week or all day, how you've been doing this and you've been doing that and you've been taking action in this direction, it's already built or betters beyond what you can imagine. Your brain can only come up with what you're a vibrational match for. But when you're having a great time, you're now a vibrational match for anything that would also give you that same frequency of a great time. You become magnetic to your evolution. That's the power of spaciousness and what's required for the dance with the alchemy of consciousness. You must build in spaciousness and having a good time, because more good times can't come, especially in your areas of focus, the areas that are important to you. But one of the biggest things that stop us is we act like we're a lone wolf, like we're the only one. We actually start to believe that when things are rocking and rolling, we actually did it ourselves. When in actuality, you didn't do it at all. You are mostly made of quantum physical particles. Those quantum physical particles have laws that pertain to them. You're made of particles that are this small. You have 75 trillion cells, 100 billion atoms, million atoms per cell. And the space between the electrons, between the protons in those atoms, forms most of you. The waveforms, the light particles, the black holes, those aspects of you are actually listening to your every action and your every thought Mostly action, though. That's why I'm saying action is so important. Not intention is nothing without action towards. Right. So, because consciousness can't take you seriously otherwise. And those particles, I mean, I'm telling you, are rearranging themselves based on how much fun you're having, how expansive you feel, how creative you're feeling. And then what happens is they create hookups with resources, hookups with programs you need to take, hookups with ideas you didn't know about, hookups with people. Just happened to me yesterday. You know, this great person I was looking for around building bridges for a project I don't mean physical bridges, I mean bridges for humanity. And this guy shows up and does this talk that was so beyond that it literally inspired me to change a 6-minute talk that I was creating. And I didn't know I was going to get it from the event I was at last night. But because I decided I had all this work to do, I could have stayed home. I didn't stay home. I went and I was entirely inspired. You got to there is a conspiracy for your expansiveness. So the last thing I want to say, which is so, absolutely aligned with these times. The other thing that stops all of us, if we choose, is when we put our attention, when we let this valuable, incredible, creative, world-changing resource called our attention be robbed of us by news cycles and ads and righteousness and arguing for sides. Attention is so important because the only way that we build bridges to the world that we want to live in, to the country we want to live in, is by putting our attention. And here's the thing, all those ads are very, let's say they're very planned. They understand psychology. In fact, that which creates sidism in the world is to the benefit because many people know how powerful our attention is. And what happens is we get distracted by those that are making enough noise about the injustice and the lack of freedom and the whatever it is. And I don't care what side they're on. But when you start losing, your attention starts losing out to the distractions, the world is a little less available to its positive evolutions. You matter. Everybody matters. Your attention matters. I'm going to give you 2 things that I do every day. One thing I do is I focus. I put my attention every morning, not on the things that I have to do, not on the things that I'm afraid of. The first thing I do is I put my attention on the version, the 2 or 3 year from now version of myself that is so expansive, so in love with life, so opulent, so in love with people, so witnessing of the evolutions that are happening. And I feel into that human being, letting consciousness know before I even get started, letting consciousness, letting life know that what I'm interested in is that version of myself every morning. And along with that, I do a future activation for all of my coaching clients. So my coaching clients, I actually type in, because it matters to type it in. I type in as though my day has already finished. Gratitude for the day and the benefits that have come to me, not specificity. Okay, we don't use specificity. It's it's something like this. I had the most beautiful day. So I talk as though the day is already over because I'm informing my cells that this is a day that I already had. I'm so grateful for this day. I had the most amazing day and an incredible conversation with a bunch of people that showed up for our Thriving Life show. I was inspired and I felt my body relax and find peace from this place of that connection with others that are really inspired to do the same, to build bridges. I found more people like that today, and it just bolstered my resolve to focus forward. I really felt possibility today, and I knew, like I knew, that the contrast doesn't scare me. It just inspires and catalyzes me towards new ideas. And I'm so grateful that I took spaciousness today, that new ideas could drop in or better. So that's an example of very similar, in fact, to the future activation that I sent out to my little posse today. Even in our our community called the Agents of Awakening, the both tiers of that community contain future activations that you can go in and read, and because we have a whole library of them. That's how important those are to me, because what happens is your biology shifts. When you are interested in that kind of life, life starts responding to you that way. So those are two things that I do every day. At first, you might not be so good at it. It's difficult to get how to do a future activation, but you can get it. You can get it. You can absolutely do it. And I want you to know that life loves you. Truly, wherever you put that valuable attention consistently, wherever you put that attention, especially if it's towards the reason you were born, especially if it's towards answering the question, what's the greatest thing I can do with the skills I already have that would make the biggest difference and have me waking up inspired and going to bed knowing that I did what I came to this planet for? If you are answering that question, the exponential rate at which life can shift is so amazing. And the grace of the universe, so be gentle on yourself, the grace of the universe is such that if you're putting your attention on things that go the opposite way to answering that question, it will always feel awful. So thank goodness you have a regulator called how you feel to let you know that your attention is in a direction that isn't towards the truth for humanity, yourself, or the reason you were born. I hope today was really helpful. I truly look forward to communing with those of you that come on this intimate journey to Costa Rica. It is going to be one of those journeys where most certainly your attention gets focused. Well, actually, you will drop into being dreamt by the dream so that you literally have clarity on where your attention should go in all of the directions. And you are so welcome in that. Renata, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for your email. Karen, so happy you're here as well. I love that you love sloths, Shirley. I know they're adorable. So, everyone, great thanks to my producer, Adam Lamb. And also, make sure you like us. Truly, it makes a difference when you like us and when you comment and when you share our shows. It's deeply appreciated, but it also helps us to get out in the world and make the world a better place and answer that really important question in the world of TWA and the reason that I'm alive. And I just appreciate you like crazy. Thanks, Nika. More please for sure, or better. Bye for now, y'all.